Alright, as promised, here is the tutorial on how to make the folio that I created using Photo Mad for Plaid. And I will go back through it one more time and show you. This is what the tutorial of the folio will look like at the end. With all the different little flaps and interactive pages, the booklet, the pockets, the little booklets here with the belly band to hold it closed, your little faux file folder with your tags here, and your small scrapbook pages, I would call them, I guess, and then the third side, which is again a little booklet with the belly band that's holding the pages down, and then it opens up to have all those pages in it. So let's get started. And I'll get that out of the way. So to start with, on your chipboard, you're going to need 2 pieces cut at 8 7/8 by 7 1/4. And I will put the measurements down on the bottom for the chipboard, how to cut the sizes. So you're going to need 2 8 7/8 by 7 1/4, and then you're going to need 1 that is 8 7/8 by 6 3/4. I guess if I move that black paper, it'd help. So that's your 3 large pieces of chipboard. Then you're going to need 2 1 1/4 by 8 7/8 for your spine. And I did cheat, as you can see, and I put my score tape on because if you watched my video earlier today, I did get my order in today, and lo and behold, I totally forgot to add my score tape sheets onto my order. I ordered the tape, but I did not order the sheets, and I love the sheets. I'm spoiled by them, and I prefer them when I'm for my album covers over the tape, but I had to make do, so because I wanted to get this, I didn't want to make you guys wait. So I do have them all taped up to save some time. So we're going to start with your cardstock. I've cut my cardstock at 10 7/8 by 12 inches. Okay, and then I did get 3 sheets because it's going to take 3 sheets for this. It's going to have excessive cardstock, but it's better to have more than not enough. So let's go ahead and I turned this light. Now I can't see, so I'm going to have to bring it back over here. So sorry. I'm hoping that doesn't give you too much of a glare, but I apologize. I'm not going to be able to see if I don't do it. Unless I may not have my overhead light on all the way up. Let me double check that real quick. I'm going to turn that up a little bit more, so maybe that'll help me be able to see a little bit more. Alright, so what I'm doing is I'm going to add all 3 of these pages together. And I'm using my 1/4 inch score tape to get it prepared. Okay. And on mine, I do score bottom 1 inch, so that kind of gives me a guide. So if you see me trying to figure out where I'm at on it, that's what I'm looking for, is making sure I'm matching up the guides, my score lines. And I'm going to overlap it just a little bit more than that. Okay, and I'm going to add my 3rd one. I didn't put any tape on this one. Fix that real quick. And match those up. Alrighty. So I'm going to lay my pieces out. So this is the one I want over here. So that's going to go here. But I want my seams in the middle of my, so I think, make sure you have the right one. So that's the smaller one. This is the 8 7/8 by 7 1/4. Let's see if I can do it. And then I need that, this, and then this one. All right. So what I'm going to do is I've got this one ends up on a seam, so I'm going to go ahead and put that one down first because that does end up on the seam. And this right here is going to end up on my other seam, so I think I'll be all right. You want your seams in the middle of a piece of chipboard. You don't want them by the edge at all. And this is one part I don't like about the tape, is having to pull it all off like that. With the sheets, it's so much easier. So I'm just lining it up on my guide. And I'm going to use my 1/4 inch to hold that, put my spacers in between the two of them. I'm going to go ahead and do this one next. Okay, so this is my 8 7/8 by 7 1/4, and I'm just going to line it right up there next to that. Okay, we're going to do come on. When you get these have to put 3 pages together. It kind of gets awkward, and I apologize if I'm out of the camera. I'm trying not to be, so I'll scoot that over. Isn't this fun to watch me try to peel tape off the back of Chipboard? If I had the sheets, it would have been one pick, and off it all went. But if you've never used the sheets, I highly, highly recommend them. It saves you a lot of time and a lot of elbow work and a lot of peeling off tape and a lot less of these little strips of the tape packing too, which tend to get everywhere if you don't catch them all at one time. So, okay, so we're ready to put this on here. Now there's my seam right there. So it is going to fit right in. It's not right in the middle of it, but it's going to be all right. Because it's over quite a bit. So it's not going to be right there by the edge. Okay, so we got that down. Let's move this over and let's do the last one. Alright. One more. Alright, we're going to line that up. Okay. Let's get my little trimmer out here and cut off the excess paper. And all I'm going to do is, bring this over in line here. I'm going to line my chipboard up with my 1" on this right here. Pour that away. Do the same with this one. And we're good to go. Okay. I do wrap my chipboard with score tape on all my albums, along with the score tape on the paper. This just helps to grab it and keep it a nice clean look to it. And then I'm going to get my 3/8. And you'll notice I don't go all the way to the end because I'm going to cut my corners off. I just bring it up to the edge. Let me try to match it up to the edge of the chipboard there. So here's my chipboard. So I'm just going to put my tape right there. I just kind of hate to waste my tape if I'm going to cut it right off and throw it away. So I just make do, and if I have to throw some away, it's not going to be a whole lot. Okay, now this is not as easy as if it's a smaller one, but what I try to do is give me my crease in the corners. It's a lot easier when it's a smaller book than it is when it's a large one. Okay. And my art glitter glue. probably should have got a new bottle out because I'm almost to the end of this one. And I just run a small bead along the edge. And I'm going to do it all the way around. Instead of just doing one side at a time, I do it all the way around. That way it lets it loosen up the paper. And it's a little bit more pliable to bend. I'm going to cut my corners. I'm just cutting them in an angle, each one in an angle. Right there on this. When I bent it over, I actually made a square here, so that's how I know where to cut. Instead of using a tool, gives you a nice clean, just leave it a little bit there at the edge to cover the edge, but it gives you a nice clean corner. And sometimes I do mess up and I cut it too much, but I try. For the most part, I'm pretty my eye, just using my eye, I'm pretty good at doing it. So. And if I'm not, and I mess up, then I fix it. Alright, so let's take all the score tape off. I'm just going to take it all off here. And we'll be ready to go. Alright. Okay, and then I like to take my edge of my bone folder and just go over the side of it to make it nice and clean. Make sure that it's a really good tool. And again, I start in the middle. And I know you can't see because I'm bringing it up, so I'm trying to get over those seams real well. Because I don't want them to pop up or crack on me. Okay, so there's my, I can't be able to see this, there's my corner. So I just bring it up. And this one I did leave it a little bit, and I got a little bit of a little arrow there. So I'm just going to cut it off. And this one. Well, and see how much easier the paper folds over. It's more workable by putting your glue on there and letting it sit for a few minutes. And I did it on this one too. It's because I said how I'm usually good at it. And that's what happened. I jinxed myself. Alright, so there you go. So, and there is our folio. So you've got your 8 by 7/8 and 7 1/4 this way. This one here is your 6 3/4, and your back is your 7 1/4 with your 1 1/4 inch spines. Okay, now the fun part. Getting in and covering that up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and might do take 2. I'm going to try 2 first. I can't remember, to be truthful, how many it took. So it's 8 and 7/8 this way. So I am going to cut my papers at 8 and 3/4. You will notice that I don't use art glitter glue on my albums at all, other than just helping to make the paper a little bit more pliable to bend. Okay, so I'm missing a little bit there, so this is going to work here for me. So let me cut 8 7/8, no, 8 3/4 here. And it's going to be more than enough. Okay. Now the fun part, more score tape. I am using my 3 3/8 score tape just so I can get a little bit more coverage and using less tape, of course. So, and then this right here, I do it that way. It's not going to really matter for this piece here, but being that I want it consistent throughout my whole album cover so I don't see it, I usually do that so when you're going over here on these pieces, it's going to cut down in there and fit and not be bulky, or, you know, if you go up and down like that, it's not going to get in there real well. So I found that if you do it sideways, it works better. So I'm just going to remove these. And bring this up here again where I want it. And I'm just lifting the corner up. I'm not really bending it over or anything, just so I can pull that off. Okay, now for this one. This is where it's nice to have the sheets, because what I do, instead of putting a full sheet across, I'll cut it in and make it wider strips, and that way, or this way, and that way it holds one 8.5 by 11 would work on this, and use less tape than what I'm using right now. So you better believe I will be placing my order for some score sheets, because this can be a pain. Alright, we're going to just go ahead and do this one too, because I'm at the point that this is the part I really don't enjoy. going to be the week of my, a week for tutorials this week. I finished up my design team project one tonight. And she put that out and shared that on my 6x6 interactive pages using each page is made by with one sheet of a 12 by 12 piece of paper, and it gives you multiple pages. It gives you a pocket, plus then it gives you 3 different pages that you can add photos on each page. So, and I made I think I did 5 pages on the second one. The first one I did 4. The second one I did 5 pages. So, and then I added some extra flaps, so it's on top of that even and 2 more 6x6 areas for photos. So lots of available photo space in those albums. And then I'm doing this one. And then I don't remember if you've seen it. Kimberly, one of the members of this Scrapbook Pages of Country Craft Creations shared a album she did using Graphic 45 nature sketchbook, and a lot of the members asked her if she had a tutorial for her album. It's absolutely gorgeous, and she didn't. And so I contacted her and I asked her if she would mind if I did a tutorial on it. So with her help and looking at her pictures, I have been able to recreate her tutorial, which I will be sharing along with everyone this week as well. Plus, on top of that, I have a big craft show Friday night. So I'm trying to get everything done for that as well. And if you could see my bedroom, my spare bedroom, oh my gosh. I've got totes everywhere, unloaded here and there. Trying to get everything together and make sure what I do take is not missing any parts or pieces and is totally intact. Of course, when using score tape, they don't fall apart. But, you know, you want to make sure. You don't want to take something down there and have somebody looking at it and they pick it up and something's missing out of it, or you forgot to cover a page. Small area, so I'm trying to get all that done as well this week. So, plus on top of that, work. So, which sometimes isn't always that fun. The work, that is. I'd rather stay home and craft. And I don't think anybody can blame me for that one. So, why did this not line up? There it is. There it is. Why am I thinking it's not going to? Alright, there we go. And yes, that's the piece there, but you know what? That's the back page, and it will be covered, and nobody will know it. So, very gently, I'm running my bone folder along my seams here. Fold them. But I want them crease-free. And I want to make sure that my paper is down, secure. Okay, we are ready to add the pages. Quick. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I did put magnets on here and here on my other one here. But because of all the bulk on this page, don't waste your magnets. That's why I put a belly band, or put some type of a closure on it. So, okay, so I'm not going to put magnets on here. Alright, So this is a folio with no magnets, and you can get away with it. Alright, let's start with page 1. So, page 1. Of course, I got everything cut for us. And then I'm going to be lost because I don't know where I'm going to be. Okay, let's start with the pocket. So, the first thing we're going to do is add a pocket onto the back of this. My pocket I cut at 7.5 by 8 1/4. And I scored it on all three edges. Okay. So I'm going to cheat here a little bit. I'm not showing you all my scores. Actually doing the scores, but it is scored. So it's 7.5 by 7.5 by 8 3/4. I did make this one a little bit shorter, I believe. But I think it'll still work. I know it'll still work, actually. So, just folding my score lines over. And we have our pocket. And before I do anything, I am going to miter my corners up here. Okay, let's add the glue. Squirting this glue everywhere. Okay. I need a wipe. And this is going to go right there. I'm going to button it up to the side here. And this side here. Okay, let me find my wipes. Okay, that's our pocket. Our book, and I'm just going to show you this now. 8.5 by 12, and you're going to score it, or 8 by 12, I'm sorry, and you're going to score it at 6 inches. And then you're going to cut 2 3 3/4 by 5.5, and then you want to score them at 1/2 inch on one side. All right. And we'll go ahead and get this together here. And this one I didn't miter my corners because I don't want to miter on this one. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to match it up here on the bottom and my excuse me, and my score line. Okay, and then I'm going to take the other one and I'm going to flip this around so it's easier for me to see, and I'm going to match it up to the top and the score line. So that's going to give you the area in between these two, all right, which is what I wanted. So there's your book. Easy peasy. And that's going to go right here in the pocket. Right there. Okay, so we want to I know what I'm doing, but I just want to look again. Okay. And I already messed up. That's all right. We'll get by with it. Put these on before you put your pockets on, and that way you don't have to leave them on, rest on your pocket, but I'm going to put mine on my pocket, so I'll be all right. So you want to cut a 6.5 by 6, which is this, and that's going to go right here. Then you want to cut 4 3/4 by 6 and 4.5 by 6. So the 4.5 and then the 4 and the 6. Okay, so I'm going to put my 4 3/4 by 6 down first. Actually, I'm going to put my other one. I'm going to put my 6.5 by 6 down first. Let's see where I want it. That way So I'm just eyeballing it. And I'm trying to leave like a 1/2 inch and a 1/2 inch on each side. Okay, then you want to do your 6 by your 3/4 by 6 next. And I'm going to flip this over this way just so I can see that I got it even. So it matches up with that one. Okay. Then you want your 4.5 by 6. And on these, you need to be scoring a 1/2 inch here. And I apologize, I'm not even telling you that. I'm just going on. So the 6 by 6.5 by 6 is going to be scored at a 1/2 inch on one of the sides to make it 6 by 6 square. You've got a 4 3/4 by 6, and that's going to be scored at a 1/2 inch, which is going to give it a 4.5 inch. Then you got your 4.5 by 6, and that's going to score it at a 1/2 inch, and that's going to be 4. So you're going to just lay the 4.5 by 6 right on top of that one. And then you got that flap, and then you got this flap that comes right over it. So you have this one. Okay. And then you're going to cut yourself a 4 by 8. A 4 by 8. And then score it at your 4 mark to make your little book for that right there. Okay, like that. Your belly band is going to be 1 5 1/4. And we can't put that down until you put your paper on here, but that's right there, okay? That's where your belly band's going to go, and then this is going to come in here. So your belly band's going to come over here, and then it's going to hold it down like that. So before we finish off this, we got to add our pockets. So the pockets are 3 by 7 and 2.5 by 7. And I scored them on the 3 by 7, I scored on all 3 lines, 3 sides. The 2.5 by 7, I only scored a 1/2 inch on each side. None at the top and none at the bottom. Okay? So I'll go ahead and miter our corners off on this. Now, if you want to add a decorative edge on this, I would cut it another 1/4 inch wider. So instead of 3, I would make it 3 1/4 by 7 if you're going to use a decorative punch on there. I personally am not going to on this album either, like I did on the other one. But I don't know why my glue is seeping out tonight, but it is. That's alright. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to line this right up next to my score. I'm not going over the top of the score, and I'm not going just barely next to it. All right. That's your pocket. And then we're going to put the second one on. And I don't miter any of these corners on this one at all. And I want it just I'm just going to sit right inside, just barely inside that one. And line it up. The reason I don't put a bottom, I don't score the bottom on that one. Let me turn it this way. I want to make sure I've got it straight before I start. Okay. And what's nice about this is that goes all the way down there. So you can put larger tags in here instead of just one this way. You can actually make a couple of them longer ones if you'd like. Okay, that's page 1. And the last thing you'll need to do is if you want to do anything to your corners, do that. And then you can start putting your paper on there. Once you have everything papered, then you take your belly band and you add your belly band over here on this side, right here, on top of your decorative paper. And then you're going to take this and it's going to go right in there and it's going to hold it shut. Keep everything shut. Okay, so I'm just going to put this in here. I'm going to put them in here in this pocket so I know where they are when I go to, I don't lose them in between now and putting the paper on, my paper on. Okay, let's move on to the back page, or the middle page, which is the back of the book. Which is your faux, what I call a faux folio pocket. Okay. So you want on this one, your first piece is going to be 8 3/4 by 5 3/4. And then you want to make your 1/2 inch score. And that you're going to sit right here on top of this. Right there. Just butt it right up to the edge of this. Don't go into your hinge part, your valley there. You just want to go right up next to it. And again, I'm not mitering my corners because I want an even look. I don't want that mitered edge to show on my paper. Okay, and you know what? I did fib to you. I told you this was a no magnet book, and it's going to have a magnet. I use a magnet for this one. So, and I know that's hard to see with it being black, and I might add it right for there. Okay. Then you need, your next piece you're going to cut is going to be 8 3/4 by 3 inches. Alright. fold or score at 1/2 inch mark. And if you want to make a decorative punch in this or something for here, like I did with the file folder look, I would do it before you added it on. This one I'm not going to. I'm going to do something a little bit different with this one. So I'm okay with not doing anything to it. I'm going to turn this a little bit so I can just see what I'm doing. Again, I'm just going to add it, put it right here on the edge. I'm not going to go in the valley at all. And I'm going to match it up to my other page paper. There you go. Now, so we need a magnet. I'll tell you, if you have not cut this, I'm going to change the measurement for this because I really cut that. I really called it close there. I don't know why I did that. I would make that 8 3/4 by 3 1/2 instead of 3. Bring this down a little bit. So, give you a little bit of playroom. I didn't give myself much of a playroom with this. So, 8 3/4 by 3 1/2. And I will definitely, I'm going to mark that down here so when I put them down, oh, I gotta have a pencil around here someplace in this mess. There it is. I know I did. Let me put 3 1/2 there. Okay. So when I add it on the bottom of this video, you will have it. This is still going to work for me because of what I plan on doing. Alright, I got these stuck together here. Okay. Alrighty. So, and if you don't have magnets, you don't have to use a magnet. What you could do is before you put this down, put ribbon here and then put ribbon here, and then you can bring this over a little bit more, like we said, 3 1/2. Bring it another 1/2 inch over, and then just tie a bow right here with your ribbon or seam binding. So you don't really need to have, and that doesn't want to come off my finger. Okay, still gonna hold it down. Still work. All right. Okay, now what you need is you need to cut yourself 2 pieces that are 4 by 4. I'm sorry, 4 by 5 1/2. 4 across by 5 1/2. 2 of them. So this came from my scraps from when I was cutting my pages, and it was a 4-inch piece, and I just cut it in half. I cut it down to 11 and then just cut it in half. So, and what you're going to do with this is you're going to my glue bottle is yucky tonight. Alright. So what you're going to do is you're going to set these right here, right next to that seam, but not on the seam, alright? And you're going to put one at the bottom and one at the top, making sure that you line them both up. So in order for me to do that, I'm going to have to flip the album again, and I apologize for that. I know sometimes that's like, what the lady, what are you doing? Alright, so I want to line them up, perfectly align them. Okay, and I'm going to flip it around again. Sorry, guys. Alright, so you should have, then you need to cut for your mats. You're going to need or your tags, you're going to need a 4x6, a 4x5, and a 4x4. Alright, it's 4x6, 4x5, and a 4x4. Alright, but before you do that, you're also going to need a belly band. So you're going to need a belly band that's an inch wide by 5 inches. And for some reason, I didn't cut one. So let me cut one up real quick here. You can make it an inch, a bit long, wider than an inch, but I like the inch. And that's going to go right here. But again, we can't put the belly band on until we get the paper on this. So this is all going to go right in here. And your middle page is done. Alright, move on to the next one. And this one is really easy as well. So you need to cut a 8 3/4 by 6 3/4, which is right here. You're also going to need to cut a 6x5, which is right here. You're going to need, or I'm sorry, a 6x5.5 by 6x5.5, a 6x5, and then you're going to need a 4x8, which is going to be your little booklet, and then your 1x5 for your belly band. Okay, so we're going to start with the 8 3/4 by 6 3/4. Making a mess. We're going to put that right here next to this, right here. Line it up. You don't want it to go in the valley. You just want it to be right next to it. Okay, then you're going to need your 5.5 by 6. And again, I eyeball it, ladies. If you want to measure it, you can. I just kind of go by my eye. And I'm just going to match that right up here to the edge. Looks about good on both sides. And lay it down. Then you're going to need your 6x5 sheet. And you're going to lay that right on top of that one, right over that hinge. Alright. So you got this one, and you got this one, and you got that one. So this one goes down, this one comes over, and then this folds over. Okay, and then that's where you're going to need your 1x5 for your hinge, and your 4x8 little booklet. And that's going to go like that, and this is going to go like this. And it's going to go right down here, and it's going to hold everything right in place. Okay. And again, you can't put this down until the hinge down until your belly band down until you taper your pages. So look at how quick, how fun, and how easy is this folio with lots and lots of areas for pictures. Now, I won't go through in video how I decorated this, but like I said, I'm not putting magnets on it. I'm going to use kind of some type of a band. You can add ribbon and tie it here. Once the magnets are not going to hold because of all the bulk on this page right here. Not all this, they're not going to hold your magnets. So you're going to have to find out how you want to close it. You can use your ribbon. Like I said, add some ribbon here. Bring it around the back and add it here and hold it shut like that. You can do a band like I did, just out of paper. I just glued it back here, curled it around, and did that. Okay. Now for this one right here, what I did was I cut 4x12, scored it at 6. Folded it in half and made a book. Then I just glued down the back side on the 3 edges. So, and then that gives me my little pocket there. And I do have a magnet in there as well. So I do have a magnet. So 2 magnets if you do it that way. So you can do a magnet this way, like I did with this. And all that is I cut this. That is 2 inches wide by 5.5 inches long. And then I put a magnet underneath here, a magnet in between the cardstock and the paper, and then it's that. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to text me, IM me, send me a post on the Facebook, IM me on Facebook, email me, whatever is easier for you. I'm always going to respond to you. I will always respond. I will always help you, you know, walk you through it, or try to answer any questions you might have. So, good luck, and please, by all means, definitely share your projects with us on Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creation. As long as you use my tutorial, you can share it on the page. If you use paper that Country Craft Creation sells and the tutorial, by all means, share it. We want to see it. And I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Okay, one thing I did want to share with you that I totally forgot, and I will edit the film, is how I made my little scrap cards for inside the faux envelope. So I cut cardstock 8 by 8. So each of these are 6 by 8. Where am I getting 8 by 8? 6 by 8. And then all I did was I just cut cardstock, different color cardstock, and made my scrapbook pages. So this is like 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and then I just cut them to where it fits different sizes. So each one is different, and if this one flips over this way, so they're both are different. And then when I did this one, I did it backwards. So this one should be up the opposite way. So when you flip it over, it should be just like that. So like this one I did a little bit bigger. I think this is a 4 by 5 3/4. And then when you flip it over, then you've got a different one. So I did a little 4 by 4 here. And the same way with this. So they're all 8 by 8s. And I did 3, and really, depending on how full, I would say I wouldn't go no more with him. Throwing everything around here. Okay, I want to go in here and try to, okay. And I know it's upside down, but I want to kind of give you an idea. So that's 3 of them. Yeah, I would stick with 3. I wouldn't go with any more than 3 because that's going to be, that gives you a nice little bulge there. So I would do 3 at the most, which still is plenty of room for more pictures because you figure I've got 2 big ones on these, a big one and a smaller one on those, a smaller one and a big one. So 2, 4, 6, 8. There's 8. 2, 4, 6 pictures. I cannot count tonight. There's 6 right there, additional areas for photos. So, and then you've got these. So you've got 3 of these, which you can do front and back, and that's 6 more. So there's 12 right there. And then you've got the full page back here that you can use a big photo back there on as well. So lots of different areas for photos. So I personally would only do 3 of these. So these again are 6 by 8s. Okay. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.